To understand this topic, you need to first understand what indie means. Merriam-Webster defines indie as a word referring to one that is independent, and in art, animation, music industries, this refers to artists who are separate or independent of corporate companies. This means in terms of video games and animation, they create the story and produce it as small groups or companies of people. In terms of music, the artist also works with a small group of people to sell and publish their music. They are separate from huge corporations like Disney, UMG, and Nintendo. And recently, there has been an increase in popularity of indie media, and that is because of a variety of factors. Online platforms have always allowed for indie productions to experience more popularity and to be more widespread. However, indie media has become more popular than ever before, and this leads to the question, will indie media become more widespread than corporate media in the future? This is what I aim to find out. Indie video games.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier and welcome to Five Nights at Freddy's.
This match will get red hot. It's on!
Alright, Joey. I'm here.
Indie video games have had an impact as early as the early 2000s, but one prominent thing that brought indie video games into the spotlight was large content creators' videos on small indie games. The largest community of indie games is most prominently in the horror genre. Indie horror games date all the way back to Five Nights at Freddy's and before that, now one of the most universally popular or well-known horror games. This was made possible by YouTubers like Markiplier, and whilst the game grew in popularity, so did the YouTubers playing the games. Markiplier has also since created a series on indie horror games that has been ongoing since 2018, in which he plays 3 indie horror games in one video, titling it 3 Scary Games, and in total that means he has played at least over 300 indie horror games over the past 6 years. Indie horror games have already become more widespread than corporate media in the past, or even converted to corporate after its success, and this is proven by games like Cuphead, FNAF, and Bendy the Ink Machine, and others. Games like FNAF and Cuphead even extended their media, like the FNAF movie and the Cuphead TV show. What makes these games so popular is the children that see their favorite content creators play them. And so, once it is played by their idol, the game spreads like wildfire, and even people who have never played the games may have at least heard of them. Indie games tend to come up with new and original ideas that make people interested in them. Due to this, they become incredibly more successful than corporate companies like EA and Activision Blizzard, where their current fans are upset with the companies for never listening to their player base, reusing old ideas for money, or constantly being in controversies. A more recent example of indie video games is Billy Bust Up, and this delves into our next topic of indie animation, which has also been dubbed the indie animation renaissance.
Indie animation. I'm Alistair, the radio demon from Hasbin Hotel, and let me just say, it is a pleasure to be meeting you. In the years of 2019 through 2024, there's been an incredibly important stepping stone in the realm of animated television shows.
Recently, there has been an amazing increase in the fandoms of indie animations that you can watch on YouTube all around the world, and arguably this trend began by creators like Glitch Productions and Vivian Madrino, known online as VisbyPop. VisbyPop released the pilot for a show entitled Hasbin Hotel in 2019, and after 5 years it became available on the streaming service Amazon Prime, which is a huge accomplishment. This show was created by an indie animation company started by Viv called Spindle Force Toons that also created the indie animation show Helluva Boss, which is a spin-off series, and they are both adult animated cartoons that defy the usual narrative in the adult cartoon world. Think of shows like The Simpsons, Family Guy, or South Park. This is because, although referencing adult topics, these shows have a regular plot just like a kid's cartoon, instead of having one episode plots with the finale of each season being a 2-part plot. For obvious reasons, I am unable to go further in depth on these shows, as they're adult cartoons for a reason, but the gist of Hasbin Hotel is that the Princess of Heck is like a Disney princess, and through musical fashion and her hotel, she tries to save the souls of people who did bad things to end up in heck. In terms of kids shows, indie animation has also taken a never-before-seen direction as well. Glitch Productions has created two very famous and very popular shows in 2023 and 2024, Murder Drones and The Amazing Digital Circus, which set the bar higher than ever before with how much it blew up just after release, with The Amazing Digital Circus gaining an astounding 252 million views. Fans from all over the world have made what was thought to be impossible possible. Similar to Has Been Hotel, these shows take a new direction when it comes to animated shows, by using a different form of humor and new concepts, something that many current companies lack. Murder Drones is a show about sentient robots left behind on Earth after people left to visit other planets in space, and the humans send new robots back to Earth to destroy the old ones. The Amazing Digital Circus is about a girl getting trapped in, well, a digital circus, which has a similar design to those old early 2000s computer games like Purple Place, probably what it was inspired by. They both have a kid-friendly dark humor that is charming in its own way. Disney's newest movie, Wish, and most recent Marvel movies have been declining in popularity because of reused scripts, general bad writing, and many people claiming that Disney has lost its magic. This doesn't look good for the corporation fronts as people want fresh ideas and experimentation, something that many corporate companies currently lack. There are other indie animated cartoons like Monkey Wrench, Lackadaisy, and even upcoming productions like Far-Fetched. The list of indie creators and productions continues to grow, but these are the ones I am mainly going over. Indie music.
We were playing in the sand.
Just like these other two categories of indie arts, indie music experiments with new ideas and focuses on authenticity. There's many different types of genres of music, but I'm going to be primarily focusing on experimental indie music, because they tend to gain lots of popularity online because of their odd concepts. Indie artists like Will Wood, Tally Hall, James Schafer, and Bill Brennan and others have astounded audiences with their experimentation in the literary and musical aspects of their songs. These artists tend to focus on political, social, societal issues, meta aspects of the music industry, mental health, beliefs, and tell stories through their songs in creative ways. This connects with their audience in a new light.
Artists like Bo Burnham, who is comedian and songwriter, also focuses on the repetitiveness of lyrics and ideas in modern songs or the reality of online culture.
A lot of these indie musicians also reference other media. Nearly every Will Wood song references old Russian folk songs. They tend to contain metaphors. James Schafer has references to Edgar Allan Poe, and so on. Indie music focuses on authenticity instead of money and has steadily increased in popularity over the years since COVID. And with the recent UMG contract with TikTok ending, millions of famous songs under UMG, including famous artists like Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, Elton John, and more, have been removed from TikTok. This means users will have to find an alternate artist to listen to, and ironically, this is perfect timing for my essay, as it furthermore pushes the possibility of users having to listen to more indie music, because independent artists were not removed from TikTok under this deal. You can still use sounds like Hidden in the Sand by Tally Hall, but you sadly can't use songs like Shake It Off by Taylor Swift, or even songs by Queen, which I'm personally upset about. Counterclaim. I wasn't able to find many counterclaims on this topic. However, one claim brought up in terms of indie horror games is that platforms like YouTube have ruined the indie horror genre due to the massive amount of popularity, clickbait, and mass-produced content made from smaller channels after larger channels made videos on them. This leads to a lot of children finding the content, and in turn slowly makes the older audience deter from the video games. The FNAF movie was rated horribly by many people, and perhaps the same could be said about it. This is a good point, however, the video opinion I found on this got deleted for some reason, so I can't figure out what evidence they had for this, and secondly, this can be said about any popular media. Upon release, the content is most popular with everyone and slowly fades as the years go by. The difference between corporate and indie media is that indie media usually retains its freshness, as in they usually still have many ideas, unlike corporate companies who tend to reuse old plots or make mini sequels. The exception to this would be in the case of the FNAF movie, as it is possible for indie creations to become less popular if people milk their content for all it's worth, like a lot of corporate companies do. What makes these indie creations successful? Simple. Through authenticity, they gain popularity and in turn money, and the cycle repeats. Let me explain. Indie arts allows for less restriction on creative ideas as the writing is often done by a smaller group of people, and they are not afraid to try new things. In terms of animation, the animators are not afraid to step out of their comfort zone with advanced animation techniques and visuals, and in terms of music, the artists are not afraid to try new things with their instruments, rhythm, lyrics, and other complex aspects of music theory. All indie arts have a focus on some form of this: authenticity, experimentation, and creativity. This piques people's interest as many current corporate companies don't offer that. As UMG said, it wasn't in their best interest for their artists to have their music on TikTok. However, this is blatantly wrong as many artists say they are getting a majority of the listeners through TikTok, like Cody Fry. This reveals one true motivation of their audio removal: money and company rivalry. These indie creators don't focus on that. Of course, they need popularity and money to fund their creations so they can continue to entertain their audience and profit, but the creation itself is their primary focus, not raking in the cash. In terms of Disney, this explains why movies like Wish, so bad it was accused of using AI to create it, have begun to flop, while on the contrary, movies like Into the Spider-Verse received such high praise because it similarly followed these concepts of indie creation. In video games, people have left games made by the company Activision Blizzard because of the lack of listening to their player base, and they've gone to games where the companies actually listen to their player bases. Despite being indie, money usually isn't a problem. They are able to make a lot of money and still pay their workers fair wages. An example of this is the Spindle Horse Tunes. They have a salary for their employees estimating around $70 an hour, while Disney's animated salary estimate is only around $50 an hour. Conclusion. So, will indie media become more widespread and popular than corporate media? Currently, indie arts value authenticity. Through this, they gain immense popularity with likable characters and never-before-seen characteristics, and in turn they profit, all to restart the process in a positive cycle, making critics and audiences question the action of their favorite corporate companies. People are tired of sequels, people are tired of cash grabs and lazy efforts by companies to maintain their past audiences purely for profit, and people are tired of controversy, thus creating a slow-turning age where viewers, listeners, and players are drifting towards indie creations, where these problems are minimal.
We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away.